Hello, everyone. I'm Colleen Vanderzyden, and this is Creating an Inspired Life. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Before I get going with my coaching tip, I just want to let you know that Lilydale Assembly is opening tomorrow. Lilydale Assembly is the largest spiritualist community in the world, and people come from all over the world to either have a reading with some of the registered mediums there, or to take workshops or experience the peace that is there. So I do want to tell you about that, and you can go to their website, lilydaleassembly.org. And I also want to tell you that my new website is up as of today. So psychicmediumcolleen.com should take you there. And if it doesn't, try colleenvanderzyden.com. It's really cool. I had a great website person, so I'm really excited about it. So today's coaching tip is about obstacles. What if your obstacles are actually helping you? I was coming back from a meeting the other night, and I was driving on this back road, and it's in the country a little bit, but this road happens to be a very winding road, and it's up and down all over the place, and there's trees all over. And as I was driving, I noticed a deer crossing the road just a little bit ahead of me. And if you have ever driven in an area with deer, you know if you see one, there are probably more. So we always slow down to look. So I did. I slowed down to look, and I looked to the left where the deer was, didn't see anything. And I thought, okay, maybe we're okay. And I looked to the right, and there were 3 deer standing right there, right next to me. Fortunately, they didn't decide to run into the road at that time. That would have been a bummer. So I was really happy about that. So as I passed these deer, I decided I was going to speed back up again. So I get going. I didn't go very far at all, maybe 30 seconds worth. And all of a sudden, something ran out at me from the left. It was so fast, I don't even know what it was. So I slammed on the brakes, and I looked around. I looked in the rearview mirror to see if I'd hit something, didn't see anything. So I thought, well, that was strange. So I kept going. And 5 seconds later, this bird comes out of nowhere on the right side of the road and flies right at my car, so close to it that I thought, oh no, I definitely hit that bird. And I didn't see anything again or look. And I thought, this is so strange. Why is this? All these things keep happening, and what is happening right now? Why are these things coming out in front of me? And I was like, it's almost like something is trying to slow me down. And it was so strange that I decided, yes, maybe I will drive slower. And it was a good thing, because I just missed the next deer that ran out right in front of me. And if I hadn't had those obstacles kind of coming out at me, I would have probably hit that deer, the next one, the very last one. I hadn't been speeding, so I definitely was not speeding, but I needed to slow down so I wouldn't hit that deer. Have you ever noticed that when we have an obstacle, we resist it? We try to force our way through it. We ignore the warning that maybe where we're heading isn't the right path for us, that maybe the way we're planning to get someplace isn't the right way to go. We may not have those literal signs like something running out in front of your car or flying at us to slow us down. But when we do have an obstacle, there might be a reason for it. We tend to get stuck in the feeling that these things are in our way, they're ruining our lives. But what if we looked at it from a different perspective? That this obstacle is actually important to us. It's actually something that's going to help us. It could be a stepping stone to something better. A problem that we have could lead us to something better. It could be correcting our path. It could be divine intervention, stopping us from an accident or something more traumatic or a disaster. An obstacle could be protecting us from something. Now, a long time ago, I had a friend who was telling me that he was having these really strange symptoms. They were odd. He had these weird pains in strange places, aching feelings. Even some of the food he was eating was bothering him. He didn't really know what was going on, and it kind of stopped him from enjoying life because he never knew how he was really going to feel. And it did bother him enough that he went to the doctor to see what was happening. So the doctor did a very thorough exam and said, I have no physical cause for the symptoms you're having. There's nothing here. You're fine. You're perfectly normal. But when they did the lab work, something came back with some abnormalities. And it turned out he had bladder cancer. However, none of the symptoms he had were symptoms of bladder cancer. So, of course, knowing this, he got the appropriate treatment and he was cured. And after that initial doctor appointment, he had those symptoms again. They were gone. disappeared. And he liked to tell the story of how he found out that he had cancer with symptoms that had nothing to do with what he had the cancer for, and how he found out on accident. And he talked about how when he had these symptoms, he was a little bit irritated because they were getting in his way. But these symptoms were a blessing in disguise, an obstacle that actually led him someplace else. It led him to the doctor and his diagnosis. And who knows how long it would have been before he'd had symptoms that correlated to the bladder cancer. And so he could have had a potentially much worse situation if not for these little symptoms. So those obstacles were a blessing for him. And even though they stopped him from doing some things he wanted to do at the time, they brought something to him that he needed. So they were kind of a stepping stone for him too, and a little bit of divine intervention, I would say, as well. So if you have things in your life that you feel are stopping you from moving forward, think about them in a little bit of a different way. Maybe you haven't found a partner yet, and you're allowing that to stop you from living the life you want to have. You don't have to have a partner to have a wonderful life. You can still do things. You can still go places. You can still do whatever it is you want to do. Yes, I know it's a lot better if you have a partner and it's more fun to do things with somebody, but it's not necessary. And what if this time, this obstacle of not finding somebody yet, what if this obstacle, this time of waiting, is exactly what you need to be ready for when the right person actually becomes available to you? So maybe it's not an obstacle. Maybe it's protecting you from meeting a horrible person that would have been just the worst relationship ever. Maybe you're learning more about yourself. You're learning about what kind of person you want to be and becoming the right person to attract the right person to you. So another example, say you want to buy a new house, but you don't have enough money yet. Rather than giving up and deciding that you'll never have the money, because so many people will do that, well, I'll never have the money, so they just give up, change your perception. Just because you don't have the money now doesn't mean you'll never have the money. That obstacle could just be a step towards what you want, a time for you to figure out a way to save money, to become more resourceful, maybe to look for a house that's within your range, or to work on your patience. Who knows? You may not get this house in the timing you want, but if you keep working towards it, this obstacle could lead you to a better outcome. So if you can look at these problems from a higher perspective and know that obstacles could be there to help you, they could be protecting you, they could help you learn more about yourself. So think about this. Are you the kind of person who gets easily irritated? An obstacle could teach you patience. Maybe you give up and stop trying. That could teach you resilience. Maybe you feel like life is unfair or too hard. This might teach you acceptance, to realize that life is the way it is. Or maybe you have a lot of negative self-talk in your head and it seems impossible to change it. You don't think you're ever going to be able to change it. Maybe this obstacle can help you learn about self-love and compassion for yourself. There are so many possible outcomes that could come from having obstacles. And I'm sure if you look back on your life, you'll find times where you've had big obstacles and problems. And if you really look, you might discover that the biggest rewards in life came from your toughest situations, those obstacles you thought you would never, ever get through. But you did. And you learned a lot about yourself and you learned a lot about life. So the next time life isn't going the way you want it to, some obstacle has popped up and it's blocking your way, try looking at it from a higher perspective. What can you learn? How could it be helping you? If you can do that, you'll see that you can change how you perceive your life. You'll change how you're experiencing your life, and you will be a lot happier because you won't be stuck in the worry and the pain of problems. You'll be able to go, you know what, maybe this isn't a bad thing. And you'll be able to see it differently. So that is my coaching tip of the day. You can connect with me at psychicmediumcolleen.com, and I wish you'd go there and check out my website and see what you think. And you can also find me on Facebook, Colleen Vanderzyden Medium, and I changed it Medium and Intuitive Coach. So you can connect with me there too. So today we will move on to our first caller, who is Sarah from Iowa.
Yeah, I'm here.
Hi, how are you? How can I help you?
I just had a question. I got a reading a couple years back, and I've just been looking into it recently. I've been told that I was like a celestial being, or part of the angelic realm or from there. I was just wondering if you could give me more information about that.
Oh, sure, sure. Lots of times when people talk about that, a celestial being or from the angelic realm, it is about your soul, what kind of soul you have, and that you have that purity of soul that can help and guide other people. I get the impression that you are that kind of person. Do you help other people and guide them on their path?
I try to, yeah.
Yeah. And I also know, tell me if this is accurate, that you're quite sensitive. Are you very sensitive to things?
Yeah, I am. I really am.
And yeah, and sensitivity, I always say, can be a blessing or a curse. So sensitivity can be awesome because we feel so much in life. We're really experiencing everything, but it can be a curse because we're really feeling everything. And so when something happens that bothers us, it can really bother us a lot. So there are things, yeah, you understand. And so yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? Sensitivity is something, but that is so important, and so many people don't have it, but it can be overwhelming at times. And I know there are times where things happen in your life where you feel overwhelmed and you think, oh, this is never going to change, or I didn't really mean that. Why did they think that? And all of those things. So something I always tell people to do when they're very sensitive in that way is to just be aware that that's how they are and make sure you protect your energy. So if you're of the angelic realm, that kind of thing, in some ways you appreciate life like a child would. And I mean that in a very positive way, because there's that sense of wonder that isn't this great? You know, this is what we can do. This is what we can feel. But also the same way a child would, if they're not happy, they're not happy. And they will let you know. So being able to understand your energy and how that works for you. Have you taken any kind of classes or workshops in energy yet?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, that might be something interesting for you to do. Or you could probably Google and get all sorts of information online. But if you looked up energy, in the body, we all have our own energy, like the aura and all of that stuff. And when somebody is very open, and I know you are, your energy just kind of goes out. And so what can happen sometimes is other people's energy will come into your body and can affect you. So that's why when somebody, if they're mean to you or whatever, it bothers you so much because you're very open. So when you're open, you've got to be aware that that's what's happening so that you can detach from that and not let everything bother you and take you into a place of pain or anything like that. So I'm trying to think of a really good energy book for you that would be interesting. There's a book called, I think it's called Spiritual Awakening by Sanaya. It's spelled Sanaya Roman. And I think she channeled the information. That's a very good book. I read a long time ago, and I was just rereading it, actually. And it's about energy and how you can work with energy. Actually, I think that's the perfect book for you. You can find that, I'm sure, on Amazon. You're probably not going to find it in the bookstore, but you might. But that would be an excellent book for you to read. Something else you might want to look into is, I'm sure you've heard about the different angels that are out there. You might want to just kind of explore some of those and see if anything grabs you, something interests you. Don't take everything you read as truth, because sometimes there are some people out there that just make stuff up. You'll just, go with your feeling, because I know you have a very good intuitive sense too. So if it doesn't feel quite authentic for you, then go, no, not that one, and just look for something else out there. So, I think that'll be a couple of really good things to kind of get you going and thinking about life from a little bit of a different angle. The sensitivity can be really something, as you know. And so that's one of the first things to kind of get under control, to just kind of realize that. One more thing before I let you go. I had another thought. In the morning, what you might want to do is set an intention as to how you want your day to go. I always used to say something along the lines of, I send my energy out and I ask that only those who can best benefit from my love, wisdom, energy, healing come to me, Everybody else stay away. So, and I used to do that on
Right.
purpose so that I was setting my intention of who I wanted to interact with during the day. So if you have some people around you that bug you, that's a great way to kind of lessen some of that energy. And I would say it out loud. So something like that. And I would also put my arms out and like make the circle around myself. So I was kind of setting that up. And that may help you protect some of your energy a little bit. So you could try playing with
Okay.
something like that too. That might be fun. And just see,
Okay.
I have a little note on my mirror that reminds me to do it so I don't forget because I have new intentions all the time. So I just put a little note there in the bathroom. So try that out.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Thank you.
you're welcome. Well, you have a good time, Sarah. I hope that I get to talk to you again sometime because it sounds like you're going to be having a good
Yes.
time on this journey.
Yes, I
So,
am. Thank you so
yeah,
much.
awesome. You're welcome. See you later. And that was Sarah from Iowa. And now we're going to move on to Alejandra from Illinois. How are you today?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Doing quite well. How can I help you?
You just some guidance.
Some kind of life guidance for you?
Yeah.
And, picking up on your energy right away, I can tell that some things aren't going the way you want them to. Is that true?
Yes.
And it seems like there's been a lot of, actually, I'm feeling a lot of loss around you. Have you had some losses recently?
Yeah.
Okay. And have you lost a person who's very close to you by any chance as well?
No,
Not
they were
recently?
really close. Maybe I just feel lost, like friendship wise.
Yeah. And it's an interesting feeling. And the reason I asked about if you'd lost a person recently is because I can feel a spirit here. So I'm going to touch in with this spirit here because I do have, and it feels like a woman here on the other side. And as she's coming in, she is giving me an impression of an illness, that she is ill before she passes. I'm also getting a little bit of breathing issues with her and something in the stomach as well. So there's some uncomfortability with her. And this woman is showing me as well that when she was here in the physical, her life was very difficult. Lots of problems, one problem after another. She kept going, but it was one problem after another. Do you have any idea who that might be?
No, honestly, no.
That's
Only
okay.
like people that have passed away that I know have been male figures, like uncles.
Okay. Keep that in mind
Unless
because it
it's
could
my
be somebody.
grandma. I never met her when
Okay.
I
If
was
you hear
little.
stories. Okay, so if you hear stories, or maybe you can ask somebody about her, because this is a person that literally her life was hard. It was difficult. There were lots of problems. It was one thing after another with her, but she keeps going. Okay, so there is that feeling of keeping going. There is a little bit of, I'm wondering about if she's English speaking originally, because I feel like there might be a different language in there with her. So anyway, I'll leave you that as the information because she's actually coming through because she's talking about you. You would normally have more resilience. You would normally be able to handle whatever's happening in life, but it seems like you've had enough stuff happen more recently that you're just tired now. Are you really tired?
Yeah.
And it's like
Yeah, that's true.
you just don't know which direction to go anymore. You just don't know where to go. And tell me if this is true, and I'm hoping it's not. Have you recently had a relationship problem happen here?
Yeah.
Oh, darn, I was hoping I was wrong because that's never a good thing. And the feeling I get with that is, boy, there were a lot of issues there. I don't know if this relationship is still going. Is it still going? Because there's so many issues I'm feeling.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
And
it is.
is there a lot of, are you guys having some real interesting communication issues?
Yeah.
I feel you trying to fix things, but I'm not feeling the other person working as hard as you're working. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And
That's
I
true.
get a real sense of you feeling, and you mentioned lost. That lost is kind of in there. It's kind of like I've wasted this time Or have I? I don't know. Your brain is just going back and forth and back and forth. And there's so much there. I want you to actually take some time for yourself and figure out what it is you really want and what you really need. And tell me if this is true as well. I feel you working really hard too. Are you working all the time?
Yeah.
It seems like you don't get time for break. It seems like you're always doing something. Yeah. And so that's never the best thing for us, because we do need a little bit of time for a break. But I'm also feeling that you're not very supportive in everything you do. It's like you have to do way too much. Is that true?
Yeah.
I want to say that you do everything around the house. Is that true?
Yeah.
And there's like no real support, help, or anything like this happening. And that's draining too, because you can only do so much. You can only do so much before you will drain your energy. And the thing is too, tell me this isn't true. Are you really eating a lot of junk food? Like food on the go?
Yeah.
I was hoping that wasn't true. Because that's not good for you. You know this. But it's the only thing you can grab really fast. Okay. And I keep hearing the message that you need to, this is funny, that you need to be just planning that out a little bit more. And I want to be giving you more fruits and vegetables. I know that that's what we always tell people to eat, when they want them to eat better and all that. But I feel like you actually like fruits and vegetables. Do you?
Yeah. Some of them, not all of them.
Some of it, ones you like, right? But yeah, because I know there's some people who don't like any of them, so it doesn't make any difference, what you tell them. But I want to be grabbing things like grapes and throwing them in my bag and taking them with me, that kind of thing, so that you're actually having healthier foods instead of some of that other stuff. So that's part of it, and that would really help you. Oh man, there's so much going on here. So much going on. Okay, I'm seeing something really interesting. Let's see if you understand what this is. I am actually seeing like leg braces. Do you understand somebody having or needing leg braces, either on the other side dead or here in the physical?
No.
Okay, that's okay.
Maybe.
Okay.
No.
Maybe you can check on that as well. And just see, because I'm seeing leg braces, and it's reminding me of somebody I knew who had polio and had the leg braces. So from a way back, so it's reminding me of that. So that might be something to check. I can tell you I've never mentioned that before in a reading ever. So there may be something to that. That does not mean that somebody who's living now is going to need them. That doesn't mean you have a problem and you're going to need them. Okay. Doesn't mean that. It just means there's a connection somewhere. Okay. Sometimes people will read into things I say, and I don't want you to read into that and take it the wrong way. So it's more of a piece of evidence of some connection with somebody on the other side. So that will be interesting to explore a little bit and see if there is a connection there. Now, the other thing that is interesting too. Okay. Who's the yelling person? Who yells in your household? Does somebody yell?
Everybody.
Yell at each other? Did you say probably you?
Everybody yells.
Everybody yells?
Mostly my mom.
Mostly your mom, okay. Because I'm getting yelling, and that for you, I just talked about to the last person about having a little bit of a sensitive energy. You do too, but you really haven't been able to express it. I feel you hiding yourself, not saying things you really want to say, not explaining things to people, that you need to say. You try to keep the peace, so you're not really speaking your mind. And that can affect your energy a lot as well. And so if you're trying to protect yourself from people yelling at you, there's something to be said for coming up with a plan as to how to protect your energy. If it's go for a walk, go do something else, whatever you have to do to protect your energy, so that you're not feeling drained with that. So that's important for you. Interesting. And the other thing is you might want to start kind of practicing speaking your mind a little bit, but do it with the right people that you can trust. They aren't going to get on your case and yell at you, or they're not going to be mean to you. So you've got to do it to people you really know. Like really share something with a good friend or something and say, I'm really feeling down now. And I would love if I could just talk to you for a minute about it. Something like that, because when you speak that and you show your vulnerability to other people, you're establishing a very good connection with them and you'll feel stronger. So if you need to do that, that's something to consider. So I'm going to be running out of time. So I recommend that for you might want to listen to this again. It'll be near the end of the show, of course, so that you can hear some of the things I said and kind of decide what kind of action step you want to take. Because I want you to take something, figure out a way to protect your energy, figure out a way to speak your mind to the right people, that kind of thing. That will help you get stronger and feel better. And you'll start to get back on your path and not feel so lost. Because that's part of the problem. You're not really living true to yourself. So you've got to get back into that. Yeah. So think about some of these things I've said, because that will help you. Maybe do a little writing on it as well. So Alejandro, I've got to let you go, but it was so nice talking to you. Thank you so much for calling.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. You have a good day.
You too.
Yeah, and thank you. And it's so interesting, because there are a lot of people right now out there in the world who are feeling lost. They're feeling like they don't know what to do. They don't know where to go, which direction to go in. And it's so very important that you just stay as true to yourself as possible. Figure out who you are and stay that way. So thank you so much for watching and listening tonight. I'm Colleen Vanderzyden. You can connect with me at psychicmediumcolleen.com or on Facebook, Colleen Vanderzyden, Medium and Intuitive Coach. Thank you, and I will see you guys next week. Goodbye.